everyone, and welcome to another Let's Talk About It. I got Grubgun hanging out with me, and yeah, we're talking about the Transformers Siege Netflix a TV show. I guess like season 1 or chapter 1, whatever you want to call it. It just premiered today, so
Yeah, it was good. I managed, even though I don't have Netflix, I managed to see it. So how did that happen?
yeah. I mean, first impressions. I don't know if you want to maybe do it like bad stuff or good stuff last or.
Well, I mean, I can't really. The thing is the bad stuff. For me, I didn't really see any bad stuff. Like, I mean, apart from me being really fussy about my CGI, and it was fine. Like, I don't see the problem. I mean, I hear people whining about Optimus's voice, and it's like, oh, it's not the right voice actor, and if it doesn't get any better, I'm gonna stop watching it. And I'm like, come on, like, how picky can you be? Like, that's I had very few complaints about this.
Yeah, I guess like I got a list of complaints. I could probably just hate it to death, but especially like the thing you brought up. No, I hated I hate the animation because I hate 3D animation, right? So if it was 2D, I'd like it better. So that's a point off right away. And then it's not tied to G1. It's its own continuity, so that's a point off there.
Right.
So that's 8, but and half. And the thing is, because of Beast Wars, I prefer Beast Wars still because like the jump from what they did from 2D to that style of 3D was so big, and I just find that this like it's like, this could have been made in the last 6 years and look like that. And like they used like multiple of the same character overused. That stuff's so lazy when you just make one character design in 3D and then make him multiple different colors.
Well, no, I did. I mean, I did notice that, and I thought, okay, I'm going to give them that because, like, you can't. I figure, there have to be just the same character, like not the same body style over and over again. It has to happen. I mean, we see it in legit, like, mainline characters. There's the same guy
Don't
over
see
and over
multiple
again.
hounds, and you saw multiple hounds. I don't know. Even
I
the one of the women who died, like she looked like the other one, like, and then I thought she was back at the end, but I'm pretty sure she died, like the Green Moon Racer maybe, or
right.
But and like a few other things were a little weird. Like I said, I don't like that animation style because I just don't. It's just something about it. Like, oh yeah, it's maybe too like gritty to be gritty. Like, what is it, edgelord style? You know what I mean? Like, do you think that's really what people want, is to make it so gritty? Like, you know what I mean? Gritty to be gritty, not because it is gritty.
Well, I mean, the thing is if it. There are a whole bunch of concessions that have to be made. Like, you don't want it to be too much like the old show. You don't want it to be everything in primary colors. You don't, because the storyline is that, Cybertron is in the middle of a war and everything, and it's been raging for years. So you don't want like everyone to be shiny and new looking and unblemished. So it's like they just went for that aesthetic and just like really went hard to that aesthetic, and it just carried through. I mean, the color palette is very muted. Everything's really rough and like just dirty looking. And I mean, they went all in with that, and there was nobody in that show got like like Jetfire looked the best of anybody. There was no battle damage or anything on him whatsoever. Like, he came out the best looking of anybody in that show. But it was that's what they did. It's like this.
I know, but don't you think it's trying to please older people because it's like, oh, it's gritty and dark. Get it, like the Dark Knight, so it's gritty and dark. But that's stupid. You shouldn't use that as a thing. Like, I'm just seeing, like, I actually liked it a bit. Like, there's things about it I did like, but like, it's just like, I don't know, man, like, a little too, yeah, just trying to be like dark because that's what they think people want. Like, think about all the other Transformers that were for adults that had the normal look, I guess. But
yeah, I mean, I don't like.
If it was drawn too, I might be able to appreciate it more. But it's just like the blocky, I don't know, the blocky look.
I'm just
blocky
not sure.
animation.
Yeah, I said, well,
Beast Wars looks better than this show. in
Yes.
in the times that they came out, like for when Beast Wars was new, that looked great. When this is like, I don't know, just like I said, it didn't advance enough for me to like buy into the style, even though it's it's way better animated than that the whatever trilogy that came before this, the Combiner Wars trilogy.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean,
because that was really bad.
Well, I mean, I say that there's only so much you can do to CGI to keep it like so that it does look like computer animation and doesn't go too far into the realism thing, because like it kind of has to stay in this area. You know, it has to look like a video game cutscene, or people won't be able to like relate to it, I guess. I don't, and it couldn't, like, this show couldn't have been conventionally done with artwork, because I don't know, it's the 21st century. I don't know. It's like,
but that's art. Like, that's what I mean. Like, this is not like, I guess, yeah, like animation, I understand it's art, but 2D is more like, I don't know, the traditional art form. I'm biased. It's so much better. Like, it just takes me out of it. I feel like I'm still watching a kid's show, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah, well,
but Beast Wars didn't have that because it was so far advanced from just going to 2D. And this is, like I said, this could have been made how it looked in the last 5 years. You would not be able to tell.
Yeah, no. I agree. I wasn't like watching this thinking this is brand new and oh my gosh, look how great the computer animation is. Like, it's just, it had its moments where I was like, oh, this is really pretty looking, but you know, it's still just computer animation.
It's on bigger gripes, and like I said, like a little bit, like I know it sounds such hating it, but I didn't hate it at all. But I know, like, people said, like, for me, like, to tie in and care a bit more, like, you know, like, these are the thing that was so cool about Beast Wars is Megatron and Optimus Primal weren't actually Megatron or Optimus Prime, so they could have a little bit more different characteristics, even though some of these people had different characteristics. It was just like something strange about it. Like, Megatron, I don't know, like, it just, like, you know, it's the Megatron, you know, but slightly not. And like I said, if they said this had more G1 tie-in, I guess, but people are sick of that too. So it's like, I get it, it's tough, but
well, I mean, like, when I was watching it, like the things I noticed were like how unpowerful these characters were. Like, they're in fist fights with each other and just like knocking each other out in these really slow fist fights, and it's like, I didn't like, you know, like in the old cartoons or whatever, everyone's like fighting and jumping around and beating each other up really, and everything's happening really fast because, you know, it's made for the attention span of, you know, an 8-year-old. And in this, they're like these really slow plodding characters. Like, everyone's so slow in it. Nobody can do anything quickly. They're cumbersome. They don't run fast. They don't do.
I know, but I swear it's like CG. Like, if it was a 2D, they'd be swooshing in.
Yeah, I guess. I guess.
And that's what I hate about it, because I'm just like, this is like blocky. Like, I don't know. Like I said, I'm not a fan of that look. So that's, like I said, I'm take a point off and then not tied in, and then yeah, maybe another half point for maybe about 7.5. I wrote that down, but yeah, for not, you know, for being CG but not pushing like something. But like I said, I don't hate it. Like, this is like so bad to go off, but like I said, like, when I compare it to, like, you know, the 1986 movie, I prefer like how they moved in that and their speed, I guess, or just kind of like the 2D animation. It's so hard for me to like not get over that, but it's just not that time anymore.
Yeah, that's the thing. And I mean, like, I was amazed at how, like, well, I'm not amazed at how toy accurate all the figures are, all the characters were.
Yeah, they're 100% are the toys on screen, and they transform just like the toy.
And I'm like, hold on a minute. So this show is just, it's literally selling the Siege line of toys. Like, you know, when you see the Seekers and you can see the bloody arms folded up underneath them, I'm like, that's just like, why? They didn't, like, holy cow, this is just the toy on my screen. Like, I'm like, it's just like the old Transformers show. They're just like, yeah, no, we make toys of these things too, and they look exactly like this show, so if you want it was just like, it was a weird product placement almost. Like,
yeah,
like I couldn't believe it. Like, oh yeah, it's 2020, and they're still trying to sell toys to kids.
Yeah,
with the
well,
cartoon.
I felt like it was gonna be like that just because of the look, but then like they transform exactly how you transform it as a toy. So,
Yeah.
and the one thing that I did like about the show, there's things I like that we'll get into for sure, but the stuff the one thing I liked is because if you're 8 years old right now and you're seeing these guys, these will be your G1. So when these kids are 30 and I'm like 60, like they'll still be making this kind of line G1 again in the future because some kids will grow up with such lookalikes like the kids in the 80s and 70s ish did, or 80s, I mean.
Yeah, no kidding. No, I never even thought of that. No
So
kidding.
then that's when I was like, okay, yeah, like I can get into it. And like I said, I did get into it. Like I'm just so picky. Like I guess like you're saying you're picky about stuff. I'm picky about. I'm just such a. I don't know. I didn't realize how much I really liked like 2D for some things, like Toy Story the movie and stuff. 3D, I don't mind things like that, but.
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of, with it being Transformers, and, you kind of have to. There's a ton of different stuff that's cartoon for Transformers, so they kind of had to go outside that box to do this. And I mean, if this was a cartoon that was hand drawn, there'd be more episodes than just 6. Because you can see why the limit was like why it was limited to 6 episodes.
But you think it'd be easier though, because they're just moving around models that they already made.
Yeah,
this stuff seems so lazy to me. 3D.
Well, I guess. I mean,
people are actually hand drawing those like 86 frames. Like that has to take longer than modeling something and then just moving it around. I don't know.
No, but you get the labor camp in Korea to do all the animation.
Well, yeah, they always do that.
That's what they do. That's why it's
I mean, Ninja Turtles, they always do it overseas back
then.
But yeah, like I said, for me, like I still liked parts. Like I got over that. Like that's just like I said, it's no tie-in and the weird animation threw me off. But things I did like too. I did like Alita 1 and Optimus Prime. It was close to what I was wanting because I really liked their connection. And then like Alita 1, like well, this is the one thing I thought too that's so funny, but hope people will get the joke. But when he's like, Alita, you're in charge of the war division or whatever it is, right? Mm-hmm. And I was just like, you never put a woman in charge of that, Optimus, of something important, but he did. So it was like, oh, whatever. But yeah, it's funny. And then but I really liked Alita 1 because like she complained like a real woman and stuff, but that's what women do. So like, and she was like questioning him and like, but he knew because he knew from Alpha Trion, like he really knew, like he that's what I like about Optimus. This made me care about Optimus Prime again because in this one, this is a good Optimus because like he's actually like very optimistic and he's actually very like he knows his role, like what he's supposed to do. Like he believes in what he believes and will do it. Like he's not letting anyone like kind of get in the way of his like vision and where he thinks they should do. Like he doesn't like, he doesn't want to surrender and like, going on with this fight is kind of bad, but he's so driven, right? And I haven't seen that Prime in so long.
Yeah, no, he really did stick to the narrative as it was about like, coming out of this victorious, in not like Megatron, but like, he wants everyone to be free in their own way. But I mean, like, they did paint it out that the Autobots were the bad guys. So I mean, and the Decepticons are it's a revolution, right? And revolutions happen, and if the bad guys are painted out as the good guys, then everything. The lines were so blurred when they started talking about it was the bad guy in this scenario. Like it's kind of weird. I didn't expect that. That the Decepticons were fighting for their freedom, right? Like
it seems like it's weird because I've been reading those. Actually, I can't believe that I've been reading. That's something that I haven't said in a decade. But since reading those comics too, it kind of gets into that mythology a bit, and like it's even prior to this, actually, right? In a way. So it's like, yeah, it's just kind of cool. Like I'm getting into it a bit. Then like those comics actually helped me get into this more. And yeah, it was cool that they're going off on different ideologies on the Autobots and Decepticons, and like I said, I just loved Alita, and the other women too, like Alita or RC, they actually looked kind of like thicker, like they looked more feminine. And I was like, dude, they usually make these like skin and bones, these chicks, and I was like, this is awesome. They're like, yeah, they're like kind of thick and cute. I was like, dude, that's amazing.
No, I actually wrote down on my list of notes on how thick their thighs were. I mean,
I know, and like even Alita, she's got the red little like bra on. I know people are like, this is like sexualizing it or like, you know, like misogynistic, like making it, but it's like, no, bring some sexy back. Like they're thick girls and they're like kind of cute for once. So I was like, that's an improvement.
Yeah, no, I like a thick thigh, so I mean, like, I was like, yeah, that's all right.
It's part of the culture now. It's like, you know, they brought that in so much, and like, I just can't believe that they look like that.
Yeah, no kidding. No. She was, that worked.
Yeah, and the Alita one, like I was saying, it was so cool. Like I said, yeah, like, you know me, like I always like to make jokes about women and they're complaining and like not being able to do things, and like it's just funny to me because like she's complaining a lot and like she doesn't believe in him really, but then she does, and it was just kind of like, that's cool to throw in there, especially for me, like even as old, like my old self, like for some reason, like in Beast Wars, I like the romance. There's like romance in Transformers, and like even those comics have some of the romance, and I'm just like, I don't know why it's intriguing to me.
Well, I mean, the thing is she's there to counter Optimus's, you know, complete blind focus on his one goal. You know, like you have to question even people who are doing the right thing because they're clouded with their own ideals, right? So, I mean, that was her role, is to just point out to him that maybe he's, you know, not
well, maybe for the audience too, like to get us like because we have the questions she's asking them, but
yeah, that's her, you know, that's the thing, she has to point that out, like that's her role in the cartoon,
yeah,
in the show, right?
But it made me really like Optimus more, and like I said, I just haven't seen like I just love I love when they do the main character when like they're just like, maybe it's bad too, but you know, when they're hyper focused on like what they want. I just always found that cool as a kid for some things, you know?
Yeah,
like Dragon Ball Z, Goku, like he never questioned anything. He always knew what he wanted. It's just like nice to see that again, because I don't know, I just don't see that as much anymore.
Right.
And I like the lead one. The girls, like I said, they were thick, they were cute. And it was cool that they had Wheeljack and Bumblebee at the beginning, because in the first Transformers episode of the 1980s cartoon, Wheeljack was the first Transformer ever seen, and Bumblebee. So they redid that.
Right.
It's a nice little nod for the G1 people.
Right. Yeah.
So, that was really cool. I was like, oh, no, that's weird. That I was like, who will be the first ones I see? And I was like, Wheeljack. I was like, what? Bumblebee? That's just like the show. I was like, yeah, they're trying to give nods, but...
Yeah.
What did you think about people just dying off? Like, obviously the people who wrote this show don't know, like, they're not obviously the super Transformers fans, because you wouldn't kill Skywarp if you knew anything.
Right. Well, I mean, the thing is like, it's, you've got to make it gritty. You have to kill main characters, and that's the thing.
Yeah,
you can't.
That's 30. Like that's like, yeah, killing these people. Obviously, I'll put spoilers at the beginning, but you know, it'll say spoiler review, obviously, but. Ultra Magnus, whatever, but he's kind of half there, but a Spinster you shouldn't have killed right away. That's horrible.
I know.
You shouldn't. And then who else? They killed one of the Moonracer. They killed somebody else. I swear. I don't know if I wrote it down, but Skywarp. That's
but
that's like 30% of the fans.
Yeah, I mean it's to drive home a point, right? I mean that's the thing. You can't make that point any other way than to do that. If he killed off a no-name,
Thundercracker people when they cared, but
well, I mean, even still, they're all name characters, right? But if you just kill an also ran,
I couldn't believe it.
I mean, that's the thing. You gotta break eggs if you're gonna make an omelet, and that's the egg they broke, right? But I mean, it just shows like they do it because to show you the level that things go to, like how intense what's happening actually is. If they just killed off a bunch of no names, there's no impact on you, right?
Well, that's what I mean. But it just seemed like kind of careless writing in the sense of like you just kill Spinster and Skywarp off Spinster, and no one's ever seen ever, and then you kill Skywarp, who's like everyone that likes Decepticons, like a lot of the people are, that's their favorite is Skywarp. So
Yeah. I mean, you know, what is dead in the Transformers
I don't know,
world
man. That's what I
anyway?
was thinking, but this seemed like people died. I like that because like the original movie had deaths, so
Yeah, well, that's the thing. Like, who did they kill off in the original movie? So I mean, like,
everybody,
yeah,
all the
exactly.
Autobots, but yeah, killing Decepticons, especially like I said, like Skywarp. I'll be surprised if more people aren't upset over that, but maybe
Well,
that's what they're going for. But or it was great thinking, or it was like careless thinking. Because like you're gonna kill Skywarp off in the first 6 episodes. Come on, that's
yeah,
ridiculous.
yeah. Well,
That's horrible. That's a point off.
jeez, there's gonna be you're gonna be down to like in the fives by the time you can take all these points off.
Well, it's 6.5. I guess 5 would be fair, in my opinion, but it's getting a bit more now because I can't think of anything. But I mean, yeah, like I said, yeah, it was mediocre. Like that's what I saw in some people saying too, up slightly. Like people actually, either thought it was good or it was fine. So there wasn't a lot of hate on it, which I can understand. Like if you're fine with the animation, you're fine with the non-G1 tie-in. There's a lot of eye candy, and if you're open to like what they're doing, right?
Yeah, I mean, it doesn't change the whole universe for me, but like it was fine. You know what I mean? It's not, they didn't do anything so stupid that I'm like, oh God, come on, why did stop trying to force stuff down my throat? Like it was very just even keel all the way through. I was just like, yeah, they didn't do anything too crazy. So
Yeah, I don't know. Soundwave though, he didn't. That voice was probably one of the worst.
That's my complaint. It sounded like a guy talking into a coffee can.
I know it's not. That's what I'm talking about. Like, I know for real. Like someone talking into a cup.
That.
Like that's what I mean. There's cheap. There felt like there's cheap things in this that I'm just like, what?
I know. I mean, like even Shockwave's voice. I was like, that just sounds dude. Like there's no pompous arrogance in that voice.
Yeah,
whatsoever.
he was changed a lot. He was more of like a weirder nerd. Like that's what I didn't like too about Shockwave because he's more like he was always more of an obedient like right hand man or whatever, even higher. Like Megatron always had lots of respect. He'd never put fusion cannon into that guy's head.
No.
I know. So, but that's like I said that they're changing weird things. But yeah, I know Shockwave. You want him to be like more like arrogant or more like just how he is.
It had that pompous voice of like just like self-importance. Like he was the only guy who talked like that, and you just like he was kind of the same, but it just was like
and you don't have to be the same, but you have to bring something of the same level in a different direction. That's my biggest complaint about the show in some ways, right? Like Soundwave, okay, if you're doing that, you have to go all in, and you can have a different pitch and all that for voice, but you need to like go like it's just as good in a different way, right?
Oh no, for sure. Yeah, no, it has to be that
Bumblebee. This is the best Bumblebee we've ever seen in 10 years.
Yeah, I mean, Bumblebee was always. I never understood the big fascination with Bumblebee, and I mean, because it was the kid's character, right? Like I'm just like, oh, well, why is he getting all the dialogue? And then finally they made Bumblebee into a good character. I was like, oh, okay, well, I like this Bumblebee. This is fine.
Mm-hmm.
This makes sense.
Yeah, this is the best Bumblebee, like I said, since G1 in a sense, because G1, he was one of my favorites as a kid because he was the kid character, and like, you always wanted to pal like Bumblebee, but I hated him all through the Bay films, and he didn't even talk, and then in some of those other new shows, they made him talk and get a bit better. In Cyberverse, I think they started out with him not talking, and then he talks, so I mean,
right.
But in this, it's like, yeah, this is, like I said, the best Bumblebee I've seen in like 10 years. And I'm not the biggest fan.
The Autobots, I didn't see the Autobots except for Optimus. I didn't see the Autobots transform until episode 4. Nobody transformed into a car until episode 4. There were planes. Everyone else was all the Decepticons.
Optimus turned into a truck right in the first episode.
Yeah, except for that, I didn't see anybody transform. Any Autobot transform into a car. I was like, well, that's weird because that's if you're selling toys, sell the bloody toys, like turn them into cars so that you can see what they do, because you didn't know, as far as you knew, they were just all robots. Like like you didn't know what they looked like when they transformed. Well, I mean, unless you have all the Siege toys, and then you know exactly what they look like. But
Yeah, like a kid introduced for the first time. But
yeah, this is the thing. I'm like, you're not selling the product here, guys. Like the episode 4, literally one guy finally transformed into a car and drove. I'm like, that's the first time I've seen that.
But it kind of made it amped up actually, like how in episode 6 when they all drove in together actually with Prime, and then he did say roll out, so it was like, you finally did see it, and they knew people would binge this like one episode anyways, so.
I know. It was weird being like watching kids, the first like the G1 stuff and how they're basically transforming, at will back and forth like all the time. Like to see them not doing it was just like, what's going on? Like you don't even know what these guys are supposed to be.
I guess, but like I said, like you saw the Decepticons do it, so you knew they did it. You just didn't know what.
Yeah, exactly. Like I wanted to see it happen, and it's like, I know Autobots are lame and they just turn into cars, but I mean, like, just do it for God's sakes, just do it so I can see it happen.
Yeah, no, for sure. And the ones that don't turn into cars are actually pretty cool. I've realized, like, even if because that one guy Rotor Storm I like, he turns into a helicopter for an Autobot and stuff. The ones that aren't cars are actually kind of cool.
Oh yeah, no. Yeah, for sure.
Soundwave, yeah. I just couldn't believe that sounded like someone talking to a paper cup. Yeah, and then when it's Sound Blaster, like he's a clone of Soundwave in this, and like even his voice was like someone else talking into a paper cup. I swear.
Yeah, without any like, it didn't sound like it was wrong. It was 100% wrong. Every time I heard him talking, I'm like, you're not distinct enough to sound different. Like Soundwave has a distinct voice. He's the only guy that talks like through like one of those voice modulator things. It's like there's nobody else who has that voice.
Yeah.
Why would you feel the need to change it? Like it's like they just cheaped out.
As you command. I know, that's what I mean. It's just, for me, it just seems more cheap. And like, yeah, you're never gonna compare it to the original, like the people in the original 1980s thing, because like, actors back then, that was like a huge art form what they were doing.
Well,
I know. It wasn't somebody in pajamas like today. I mean, these people were in their pajamas, but like, it's like, there was like, these people were like, they wanted to make it different,
Yeah, I guess, but I mean that was a senseless change because Soundwave is so distinctive, and you just like even with it's my two complaints are Soundwave and Shockwave's voice. Like it's like, come on, like really, that's what you're gonna do? Like it's if you make everything, all these nods to the original show, and you don't give these guys their voices, like
for me, like I'm not taking a point off because that bothered me the least. It just stuck out, like because I was like it's cheap and garbage already, so I'm like, of course they're gonna sound like crap. So I mean, that's just my overall like thing. So and like I really like the Optimus. For voice acting, I love him. I love the new Optimus. He's doing it like someone like that does care, and he's trying to make it primey but his own, but it's pretty good. And Alita's good.
Yeah. No,
Wheeljack, Bumblebee, good. Megatron, good.
Yeah.
Starscream, did you like? Yeah, and then that's that. Now I'm turning into people that hate on me. Like I'm like, why does he sound weird? But he sounds like Starscream, but more feminine, or
yeah, it's just not as screechy and whiny as G1 Starscream voice. Like he's a little bit more subdued. Like he's not so pleading in every one of his things that he says, but he's pretty well. It's more or less the same.
Right, that's what I thought. Right? Like it's a good take. I like it because it's about it's different, but it seems like they kind of do care.
I mean, the thing is like Starscream, like in the original cartoon, he's a punk. Like I wouldn't listen to the guy. I would if I was Megatron, I would kill him.
They made him cooler.
Yeah, exactly. He wasn't an idiot. He wasn't continuously pestering Megatron, like because he's subordinate to Jetfire. So Jetfire's always like admonishing him for running his mouth. It's Megatron doesn't even pay much attention to Starscream. Like he's just like he's talking to Jetfire. Jetfire's the guy in charge, right? So he's really like just a leader of the Seekers or whatever, but like really he's just another one that just runs his mouth. So it was good. I like the hierarchy there. That like how people only answered to certain other people, right?
And yeah, did you like Megatron?
Yeah, no, I did. He wasn't as I don't know. He wasn't as big of an idiot as he was in the G1 cartoon. Like he's just
Yeah, he was.
he
He's a
was
whatever they call megalomaniac.
megalomaniac, but I mean he's very weary of having to continuously fight these people. Like he just thinks like, why isn't this over yet? Like why do we have to just keep doing stuff? And he's more and more desperate as it goes along. And he's just like he doesn't want to do it anymore either. You know what I mean? Like he's just like and he's got to continuously like froth up the anger against the Autobots with all the other Decepticons, and it's like he just wants it over. You know what I mean? He's just sick of having to like do stuff almost like. But yeah, no,
but he was becoming more evil though. You could tell like at the beginning he was kind of too soft, and then he was becoming more evil.
well, he's getting talked into a lot of stuff though. Yeah. That's the thing. Like he's not coming up with a lot of these crazy ideas himself. He's being talked into it by other people who are like, well, we have to be more desperate. We have to, we have to do this. We have to do these horrible things because the Autobots are our enemies and stuff, and he just goes along with it because he's like, yeah, I guess this is who I am. This is what I have to do to win. I have to do this. And so he's really like, he's a victim of the people he surrounds himself with. His yes men just push him and push him and push him, and he gets worse and worse and worse. Like, sure, he's just, I don't know, is strange. Like you almost can sympathize with what happened to him, because if they were all slaves to the Autobots, which is what they insinuated, they all worked at the Energon mines while the Autobots were sipping on, whatever they said. Like
I know, but they're
and then sure, Megatron has every right to be, kind of ticked off at these people. Like so.
But wasn't that before the war? Like, didn't they become Autobot like after Megatron did that? Like after they got out of the mines, or no? Like, you know what I mean?
They never said. It was just literally like
I figured like like a crisis happened, then they picked sides, I guess, but maybe not.
I would imagine.
Yeah, it wasn't really said. Hey.
No, I would imagine they picked sides when they decided to not be slaves to the Autobots anymore, and they're like, fine.
That's what I mean. But then, then there was Decepticons, right? Yeah.
Yeah. When the revolution happened, which you assume happened based on what they said, right?
Yeah.
Like, when they started.
But they were like, why were they? I just don't understand why because they didn't have symbols on them. Like, who were they? What auto? Like, what? Why would they be segregated to work there? What?
Yeah, no, I guess I don't know. But I mean, it's just, as with any, culture, at some point you're going to do some really questionable things and, be able to justify it at the time. And, later on it looks really bad, just like is happening now. And, the people who are mad about it, something that happened 300 years ago, they're still mad about it. So it's like, you can't, like, there's no truce that could have happened in this. Like, there is no truce.
Mm-hmm.
Like, there is no unifying the Autobots and Decepticons at this point. Like, the war is all they have.
Mm-hmm.
Without it, they're
more aware of it now, or like the old. That's what I liked about the old show. Like they both wanted the war to continue, I think, no matter what, because it's like a continuous cycle. Like they were like, like I said, they like I always said that the Autobots, they don't want like a human on the battlefield to die, but they'll put like multiple worlds in jeopardy for their war because it's an ongoing cycle that they're locked in.
Yeah, no, exactly. No,
but now they're in this. It's like a take on it, but it's like trying to be more like woke. I hate that word and that expression, but it's supposed to be more of a like they actually realize what they're all doing, and if those guys were working in those mines and all that, the revolution it has more like they're aware of it more, right?
Yeah, that's the thing. I mean, and as soon as you realize what why the Decepticons are who they are and why they act the way they act. The whole gray area in the middle, it's
Well,
like,
they start becoming evil though by kill. They think it's not a genocide. I guess that's why Jetfire leaves, because then he turns it into a genocide, like it's always been.
well, but this is the thing. He's talked into that. Megatron's not.
Yeah, but
It's
you're
not his
taking the
idea.
action. Yeah, no, but if you're putting it forth and you're the leader, it is your idea, even if you're being talked into it.
Yeah, no, I know, but
Because
I
you're
mean,
pulling the trigger.
he's that desperate at that point that he thinks that's the only way to solve the problem, because he's just like, everyone keeps badgering him. Oh, gee, Megatron, you're not very powerful because you haven't been able to stop this yet, and you haven't been able to talk them into surrendering. So let's just kill them all. You know what I mean? And it's like, he's like, yeah, well, if I have to listen to these people forever telling me that I suck at my job, then I might as well, if I do this, then I won't have to listen to them anymore. So it's like he's continuously he's in the worst possible position as a leader of a revolution. And Optimus is exactly the same, though. They're like, oh, we're going to have to do, they're telling him the peaceful ways out of this. And he's like, nope, I'm not going to stop fighting.
Yeah,
I won't fight
he knows they won't
till we're
stop,
all equal. So. I'm like, okay, well, that's not going to happen, though, Optimus. So I hate to break this to you, but you're just fighting for the sake of fighting.
Yeah, he'll have to fight them till they die, because he knows that's how far they'll go, though.
Yeah.
He knows Megatron that well, like his pride. So he's like, he knows it has to go for a war for eternity until there is one person standing.
They're as bad. They're as bad as each other, though. This is the thing. Like they're just two sides of the same coin, right?
Yeah.
They don't.
It just depends what side you're on of history, anyways, I guess.
Well, that's right.
The woke version of Transformers.
Well, the winners write the history books, right? This is the thing, and so.
But I just feel like, it's like, I do agree. Like, I know they're both kind of even on who's right or wrong, but it's like I said, they both know that it's a fight to the death, I guess. And that's what the Transformers kind of is, Mm-hmm. But the thing that the Autobots are a little bit, like, in their tactics of war, they're kinder, because if, like, an Autobot just rolled up on them like Jetfire, they probably wouldn't even question it. They just kill them. The Autobots will, like, bring someone in,
Well, like, it's the thing is that that's why the Autobots were in such a poor position in this, and why the Decepticons were higher numbers and stuff like that, is just because the Decepticons are more desperate. The Autobots want a peaceful resolution, but the Decepticons began their revolution and it wasn't peaceful from the very start. So having a peaceful resolution was never in the cards for the Decepticons. And I mean, the Autobots are like, they're just screwed, because like you said, they want to find some kind of some happy way of resolving things.
Well, the Autobots want to believe that, but Prime, I think, knows, like, deep down it's a fight to the death, though,
Oh, he does. It's all or nothing. You know what I mean? There's no compromise either there was more compromise with Megatron than there was with Optimus. Optimus couldn't be talked out of his crazy pacifistic, a dream. But
I love that, though. I loved it. Yeah, that's the best part. That's like, I guess, I don't know. That's the only reason I started to like it, is just because how much he was devoted to it, and like Alpha Trion gave him the blessing that he was on the right path, and then like he just had to do it,
Right? Yeah. No, I know.
And like, if those are the Guardians, they chose the Autobot side in a way, even though they said they didn't,
Yeah.
They still did help Prime, and he pushed them. He went down there.
Yeah. No, I know.
Like I said, I haven't seen that in a show, a character so blindly followed by a light, that's one of my favorite character traits of any show, Dragon Ball Z and like stuff like that. So like that's what, like I said, I don't hate this, even though I had picky opinions about animation. If this was like 2D animated and it played out this way, I think like, you know what I mean? I would have been like a little bit more like just forgiving and like more into the world, because there's lots of things I haven't seen that I like, And the original movie they had Autobots getting killed that you loved and knew, and this had more Decepticons getting killed that you knew, and there's lots of things I liked about it. Just it's just how the stuff is presented. Like I'm a little picky, but it's but like I said, the blind following I loved. Anything else like that you really took from it, like just the wrap up, like what are you waiting for? Like, you know, when that ship turned on at the very end and they said
Yeah.
like approaching thing, was that like was that like the Beast Wars people on that side, or was it someone else, or
Who knows? That's the thing.
right?
And how long are we gonna have to wait before we find out? You know what I mean? Like,
Not Star Wars long, I don't think.
well, no, this is the like. I mean, why didn't they show like some kind of a you know air date, or not an air date, but just like a kind of a ballpark air date of season 2?
I think because they had
Because
so much trouble though with getting all the languages on this. This was why it was pushed back before, because Netflix will only release it if every language is done,
well,
and they had so many issues. So
that was the funny thing, because when I watched it on the quote unquote service that I watched it on, I had it, and it was before I changed the language, they were talking in Hindi, and there were subtitles, and I'm like, what the hell's going on here? Like, what are they? What language is this? And I realized, and then I checked to see the different languages that it came in, and there were like 25 different languages I could have watched it in.
yeah, Netflix makes you them do it all before they put it out, and there was issues. So I think they just don't want to call it, and I think it'd be stupid if they don't want to pound this out before Christmas to buy more toys. So
Well, this is the thing, though. But they're selling toys that of a toy line that they're killing off anyway.
yeah, but the time 3 hits near Christmas, all that Beast Wars stuff would be on the shelf if that's the way it's going.
I guess so, but I mean, like
All the Elite 1 stuff comes out in October,
right.
you know.
Yeah, and I mean, like, at least now they know that, if kids see this and this is their first exposure to Transformers, at least all the old crappy Siege stuff that's sitting on the shelves, warming the pegs and stuff like that, at least some of it'll sell now, because they'll be like,
again.
Yeah, exactly.
They got Starscreams for days at the Toys R Us here, and they got Soundwaves, like all that will pull off now. Again, like it'll boost it a bit for sure.
Yeah. So, but I wish I knew, like, when not part 2, but
we'll
like,
know soon. We'll know soon.
Yeah, I guess so.
Something, yeah. But yeah, no, it is a thing, like I said, and like we'll see where it's going. But overall, overall thoughts. Like I said, I know I dug hard because you know me, I just don't mean to be that way, but I know a lot of people are saying they really like it, and a lot of people that are kind of nay with it. So it's for me, it's like I want to express some things. Like I'm not afraid, like these things, like these. Let's talk about it. Everyone has their own opinion. Don't take this to heart. I'm not right. It's just like I'm got nostalgia glasses. Anyone that's ever known me knows that. Like I'm living through like 5 different lenses back from time. Like what I mean, I see the year like 5 years behind. So I just like and I just want to share my personal opinion. I want to make these real. We've talked about this for 44 minutes, but like I just want to make it real. You know what I mean? And I know you're gonna say what you want to say. So.
Yeah, I mean, I've got no horse in this race. This is the thing, you know what I mean? Like I don't live and die by Transformers continuity, so it's like,
but it's such a good view with us together.
Yeah, I mean, like I'm gonna see things from my jaded 49-year-old point of view, where I can't look at things through rose-colored glasses anymore because I need my reading glasses on now. So I mean, like that's the thing. That's what you're gonna get.
Yeah, I know. I tried to give it our honest opinions, and yeah, like I said, I wrote it down. Like I said, I'm not keeping those points. Like I said, yeah, it survived. A 6.5 for me that means I liked it, so I'm giving it 2 thumbs up. I'm sure, I'm sure you've seen it if you're watching our spoiler review, but I hope you liked it. Like I said, there's a possibility of even talking about it. I'm gonna do a rewatch of it and talk about it again. It's like. It's just one of those things where it's like this thing for me, like there's things I really did like and pick up on that I'll probably like it more and just, see where it goes,
Yeah, for sure. I mean, it'll either make me like older Transformers more or dislike older Transformers more. I don't know until I keep watching, season 2 or whatever.
Yeah. Well, those ones, they're just like, they're for history, man. Like there's good episodes in those, but they're not for like all the voice acting is spot on. It's just the stories are kind of bad, and sometimes the wrong animation companies are animating it. That's why we just don't get enough 1986 style, because that was like
right
the pinnacle style and tone, adult enough, and like people were dying, and it was just like we just don't have that. So I mean, I just look at the old stuff as what it is. Some of the season 3 stuff you might like because it's kind of like the movie.
Yeah.
At least it's an ongoing whole story, basically.
Right.
3 different parts. But yeah, no, this one I'm looking forward to. More, we'll see when it drops. This will be out. So I mean, this definitely will be the last time we talk about it. So yeah, I'm gonna be optimistic and try to get into it, but we'll see.
Yeah, for sure. No, it was worth watching, and I mean, I didn't jump on any hype bandwagon or anything, so it was what it was. I enjoyed it. I mean, I can't give it an out of 10 rating because I don't know, whatever. It was all right.
I don't even give things ratings, but when I'm giving them ratings, I'm like, I have a system to break these down. And if that's what it passed, that's a pass. 6.5 is a huge pass for me. Like, you're not gonna get validation from me. So I mean, 6.5. Like, if you're a 7, like, yeah, you made it.
That's
so,
it. No, that's
yeah.
it. That's right.
Like, Goodfellas and all that are up there at 10, but but yeah, no, we had fun. Like I said, please don't be offended by our takes, our perspectives. That's all they are, is our perspective.
Right.